Welcome in, race fans, to Southern California for the 12th race of the Tuesday Night Thunder 2025 season here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. Tonight, it is just you and I up here watching from the skies as my usual co-host, Tom Richter, is going to be out on track for the second time this season. We'll be able to see that 34 truck in all of its glory, or maybe not, depending on how this race goes. Hopefully glory in Tom's case. But nonetheless, drivers are wrapping up practice. We've got less than 5 minutes to go before we get into qualifying for tonight's event. And speaking of tonight's event, why don't we pull up some of the information? We're at the Auto Club Speedway, a track that unfortunately in the real world was recently torn down, but we still get to race it here on the sim, and it is one of my favorite tracks. It always puts on a great show. So down in Fontana, California for tonight's iteration, race 12 of 23 on the season. We are officially past the halfway mark in the season. 69 degrees and cooling down as the sun sets. We will finish this race completely in the dark and under the lights. I'm looking forward to it. Just me in the booth, as I mentioned before. In the upcoming schedule, we've got a fun round of tracks coming up after Auto Club tonight. We've got North Wilkesboro, the shortest of short tracks, followed by Rockingham, a very difficult, very skill-intensive track, and then the Charlotte Roval for our last road course of the season. Lots of fun stuff coming up. Lots of storylines to keep on top of as we go throughout the season. Before we jump into anything too crazy, though, I like to bring up these power rankings every time I get the chance, and I'll tell you what, this week Tom's not here to stop me from pulling it up. Not that he does. But in the power rankings, coming into race number 12, following race 11 in Watkins Glen, Greg Mitchell comes out with the win. He's going to come out top of the board, momentum-wise, and on the power rankings. About neck and neck with Cody Gibson. Those two drivers have been head and shoulders the class of the field so far this season, one step ahead of the rest. So I'm looking for the 55 and the 1 tonight. Jason Raymond has had a great stretch of performances. He finds himself up into P3, a newcomer in the league this season. Ed Jurgen, a Cyber Thunder veteran, sits in 4th after a great Watkins Glen. Andrew Caldwell back into the top 5. Gary Bowman still hanging around the middle of the power rankings. You can't get rid of him that easy. Tanner Marr takes a slight tumble, but I'm sure he'll be back in the mix tonight. Matt Semple finds his way back onto the power rankings. He's had a bit of an up and down season, but a couple of good runs in a row might be just what the 16 needs. Eric Anderson had some great speed in Watkins Glen. He's 9th in the power rankings. And Dustin Ping, second fastest for most of last week's race in Watkins Glen, excuse me. We'll see what Dustin Ping can do tonight. Currently 10th on the board in practice, but practice doesn't pay the points, so we'll keep an eye as the race goes on. That's not the point standings, mind you. That is my opinion on who the top 10 drivers are momentum-wise, based on the season as a whole, the last 3 races, and the highest weight is the most recent race. That's about how I determine those power rankings, so that's just my opinion. Take that with a grain of salt. But as practice begins to wind down, we'll see these drivers kicked off track in just a moment's time. Top of the board in practice, it's Cody Gibson, followed by Mike Stiverson, was showing some speed tonight. Ed Jurgen, Lee Campbell, Andrew Caldwell, they round out the top 5 on the board in practice, though I wouldn't be surprised to see a shakeup once qualifying plays out. In practice, you get a lot of slipstream, you get a lot of draft from these other trucks on track, and in qualifying, you're going to be all alone, so we might see a complete different rundown. Looking forward to see how that plays out. We've got 100 laps in tonight's race. 100 laps, nice and easy. The first stage is at lap 18, the second stage at lap 40, and a fuel run is 22 to 24 laps, so stage 1 will be all right, but stage 2 we might be cutting it close on fuel. We'll have to see how that goes. Checkered flag goes out in practice, and we'll be ready to switch this right on over to qualifying. There we go, drivers getting kicked off track. We'll give it just a moment. We'll see who the first drivers are to peel their way out on track, and we'll get these qualifying laps underway. 2 laps apiece should drivers choose to take them. 5 minutes in the session. to do with as you will. And let's see here. Drivers are just now making their way into their vehicles. Let's see who we can jump on with first here in qualifying. We've got driver of the 92. It's Ed Jurgen, currently in the top 5 in the point standings this season. I have him 4th in my power rankings. Ed Jurgen had a chance to win last week, and Watkins Glen came oh so close. It was a phenomenal run nonetheless for the 92, and Ed looks to carry on that momentum tonight in Auto Club. Looks like the time has passed just enough from the end of practice to pretty much put us entirely under the lights. There's no more sun on the track. And with that, we'll see what these drivers have, beginning with Mr. Jurgen across the line. The 2-time Cyber 500 champion begins his first lap around Auto Club. Gonna take that high line, maybe a line off of it. You can work these seams with your left tires. If you can get your left tires just on one of those seams, it can help rotate that truck. If you're experiencing a tight condition, if you want to try and, you know, keep it in the throttle a little bit more and maybe loosen that thing up. It's gonna dive down to the bottom in 3 and 4. An interesting strategy, but these two corners, as much as they might look like they're the exact same from a distance, they are entirely different. When you are behind the wheel, they act entirely different. Across the line for Ed Jurgen, top of the board provisionally at a 39.99, and into turn 1 we go. Gonna take a lower line on lap number 2. It's gonna be right about in the middle of the track, and onto the back straightaway, just keeps it off the wall. Good stuff from Ed Jurgen. We'll see where he comes back around. Other drivers on track, we got the 89 of Philip Van Vliet. And here's a great plug for tonight's sponsor, Greg Mitchell, who sponsored this race and called it the Fast and the Furriest. You'll see a bunch of these drivers have their pets on their trucks this evening. Tonight is an homage to the furry friends of the Cyber Thunder Racing League, as Philip Van Vliet comes across the line. Going to be P9 after lap number 2. Jason Raymond top of the board as we sit. We'll jump over to Andrew Caldwell in the 46. We'll get back to some more furry friends throughout the evening, but good to see some on Philip Van Vliet's truck. Andrew Caldwell, 46, across the line. We'll see where he puts that Toyota Tundra. It's going to be P5 for Mr. Caldwell. We jump over to driver number 9. That is going to be Brian Dorsey. Pardon me for not having the leaderboard up there for the beginning here. This is what happens when you take Tom out of the booth. Brian Dorsey off of turn number 4 in that black and blue 9 Ford F-150 to the line. And Brian Dorsey keeps it in the top 10. P8 on the board. Good stuff from Brian Dorsey, showing some good speed tonight. Top of the board goes Cody Gibson, driver of the 1, as we are watching his teammate in the 4, Tanner Marr, in that Christmas-themed Chevy Silverado. Down the backstretch we go. Tanner is on lap number 2 of his efforts. Currently finds himself P15, and we'll see if lap 2 is any improvement off of turn number 4. For Mr. Marr, brings it all the way down across that apron and to the line. Let's see, jumps 1 spot, P14 for Tanner. We jump over to the Cyber Thunder Broadcasting Network Toyota Tundra, driven by Mike Stiverson. Got some pets on the back of that thing by the looks of it. Off of turn number 4 we go for Mike. Currently finds himself P4. Will lap 2 jump him up any higher on the board? No, it is not. Mike Stiverson. Oh, it is. Pardon me. It was a little delayed. Mike Stiverson to the front row with that effort. Good stuff. We got Lee Campbell on track right now, driver of the 60. Looks like a little bit of an issue with the numbers not showing up on the side of that truck. Not sure what the case is for that, so nobody will really know what number Lee Campbell's driving tonight. I tell you what, we do got the 34 truck of Tom Richter across the line, and Tom Richter is going to jump himself up to P15. My usual co-host out there trying to avoid the pit barrels tonight. Lee Campbell brings us across the board, and Lee is going to jump into the top 10. Great run from Lee Campbell. P9 with a 40.02. puts him in the hunt. And with that, qualifying has come to a close. What an action-packed qualifying, I tell you what. I had did not even have a chance to breathe during that qualifying session. That's pretty cool. You don't often see that. That's pretty cool. And let's get our starting grid up here. Why don't we? And let's find out where everyone's starting tonight. All right, on the front row, your pole sitter tonight, it's going to be Cody Gibson, driver of the number 1, alongside Mike Stiverson, starting P2 in the 20 truck. Row 2, we're going to have Greg Mitchell, tonight's sponsor, in the 55, followed by Jason Raymond in the 49. Gary Bowman rounds out our top 5 starting positions. Ed Jurgen in P6. Chris Rose, driver of the 07, with a good P7 qualifying run. Dustin Ping in the 81 is going to start in P8 ahead of Lee Campbell in the 60. And rounding out the top 10, we have Leroy Koblenz. Following that, we have Andrew Caldwell in P11. Larry Bell in P12, Brian Dorsey, P13 with that run, Andy Cork in P14, Brad Holmes in the 00, P15, Tanner Marr in 16th, Tom Richter starts in 17th, Eric Anderson in 18th, Amanda Sherman 19th, and rounding out the top 20 is Matt Semple, starting 21st, Philip Van Vliet, the Lone Dutchman, alongside Corey Sherman making a return appearance in that 3 truck in 22nd, Rick Thompson starts 23rd, ahead of Nathan Dufton in 24th, Theodore Todorov in 25th, ahead of Paxton Frith, driver of the 7. Chris Lett starts 27th, Dave Gainforth 28th, Steven Music 29th, and rounding out the top 30 is Logan Spencer. Shotgun on the field is going to be Chris Mackey, Fred Thompson, and Casey Tomlinson. And with that, that is our starting grid. I don't think I have said that many names in that short of a span in quite a while. But we are getting ready to get this race underway. We got our front row right here, Cody Gibson, Mike Stiverson, going to wait for that pace car to roll off momentarily. And I don't know. Let's see if we can't get a look at some of these furry friends. We've got on the back of Mike Stiverson's truck. You can see a couple of good dogs right there. We've got a couple cats on the side of Jason Raymond's truck. You see on the side of Greg Mitchell's 55. We've got, get a better view here. Looks like we have a cat and a dog for Mr. Mitchell. We got oh, look at that. We got a pug on the back of Ed Jurgen's 92. We got all kinds of pictures on Gary Bowman's truck. Chris Rose just all over the truck. Look at that. Love to see it. Love to see it indeed. See if we can catch any others around here. Looks like Larry Bell's got a couple animals on there. Trying to pay as close attention as I can to everyone's trucks right here, and I will make sure to refresh these paint schemes just in case I'm missing anyone. Amanda Sherman has got those animals. Oh my goodness, got Daisy on there, got Rip on there. What is the war wagon tonight? Even got Dale the possum. Oh my goodness. Wow, there is a lot going on there. Anyway, let me not get too distracted. We got a race to cover here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. Pace car is getting ready to pull off, and Cody Gibson in control on the restart right here. We're going to get ready to get 100 laps underway. Barney's got that green flag in the air. Into the restart zone we go, and away we roll. Cody Gibson, Mike Stiverson. Stiverson slides in front of the field, multiple drivers involved. Corey Sherman sideways on the track. Matt Semple involved, Chris Letts involved, Philip Van Vliet. Mike Stiverson, of course, on lap number 1, out of turn 2. Boy, oh boy. Not what we expected to see whatsoever. First caution out on the speedway here, and let's see if we can't figure out exactly what happened here. We're going to take a zoomed out view. Mike Stiverson kind of running that middle line right here. It looks like he gets loose. He gets extremely loose. For the truck to kick out that quickly at 1/4 speed, he's just going to miss the 0.7. It looks like Lee Campbell gets loose trying to check up. He gets out of the gas to avoid the 20. That gets him loose. And then there's a huge stack up of vehicles right here. The 9, the 46, the 00, all involved. Pretty good damage for Lee Campbell in the 60. It looks like a lot of these drivers have nowhere to go. The Shermans getting together, Amanda Sherman and Corey Sherman. They're going to go for a ride right here. Meanwhile, Mike Stuyvesant's going to collect a couple more drivers down the back straightaway. We'll see if we can get another view of this, maybe speed it up just a little bit as well. Maybe get a different camera angle. See how quickly this can happen. Multiple drivers loose in turns 1 and 2. Multiple drivers, and the 65 just chose the wrong place to go. Looks like a lot of these drivers are going to go get away with the damage they had, though I do want to... Let's see if we can't get another... I noticed something interesting. We're going to do something a little unorthodox here on the broadcast, but I want to say, so we see the 20 sideways, we see the 60 sideways. You can see on the right side of your screen, that's Leroy Koblenz and that silver 42. He is also sideways. There are 3 trucks sideways on track right now, none of whom touching each other. And there's another car on the top right of your screen, another truck at the back of the field who's sideways. That's the 7 of Paxton Frith. There were 4 trucks who got loose and lost control before that caution came out. 4 trucks. Unbelievable. If that doesn't go to show you just how treacherous turn 1 was for the handling of these trucks, I don't know what will. And if you're Mike Stuyvesant, I think you're feeling a little bit better about the fact that you were not the only one to get loosed into turn 2 there. That was just about a good solid chunk of the field who all lost control through 1 and 2. That is really unusual. Not something I'm accustomed to seeing whatsoever. What a way to start tonight's tonight's race here in Auto Club. Cody Gibson up front, on for a nice Tuesday evening drive at the moment. We're gonna double it up. Lights are out on the pace car. A number of drivers having made a pit stop. Only those involved in that incident getting some damage fixed. As they run on track, Amanda Sherman, Brian Dorsey, Steven Music, Brad Holmes, Philip Van Vliet, Mike Stuyvesant, Lee Campbell, and Corey Sherman. They all pit and are back out on track. Currently still in the pits, Paxton Frith and Chris Letts with terminal damage. I am showing a penalty flag for Theodore Todorov in the 24 truck at the moment. We'll see how that plays out as the field is doubled up once again, and we are ready to try and get this race underway one more time. Re-rack them, restack them. We've shaken up the field quite a bit with just 1 caution. Biggest mover so far is going to be Chris Mackey and Casey Tomlinson, both up 13 positions, running respectively 18th and 20th at the moment. Cody Gibson, driver of the 1, leader of this race, is going to elect to take the outside lane for the restart. Going to put Greg Mitchell on the inside. These 2 on the front row arguably are 2 biggest championship contenders this season. The 2 drivers who have been head and shoulders above the rest. The 2 drivers forming quite the rivalry here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. Into the restart zone we go. Cody Gibson on the loud pedal, and back to full speed we roll. View from on board, our race leader, Cody Gibson, in that number 1 machine. Watching as Greg Mitchell tries to chase him down at the moment. You can see how spread out the field is. Further back, looks like Tito Todorov's going to pull off track and serve that penalty that he received a little bit earlier as was mentioned. Closest battle on track right now, Andrew Caldwell, Dustin Ping. This is going to be a battle for P7. Dustin Ping in that all camouflaged 81. Going to take it to the high side of Ed Jurgen. Dustin Ping, a man on a mission to start out this race. Past Ed Jurgen down the backstretch. That's P6 up 2 positions from where he started. Ed Jurgen going to try and fight back on the inside. How hard does he fight it? Not extremely. As these drivers get it all settled, we are nearly 3 wide, a little bit further back. They get it sorted out. Looks like Tom Richter is going to be up 7 positions into the top 10 from where he started. I know we've got Kathy out in the chat rooting on Tom in one of his 2 appearances this season. Always do love to see that. Tom's trying to get settled in for a long race ahead. Got a long way to go. Make up some positions early on, see what you can do. That's Chris Mackey in the 17, going to get around Tom and Larry Bell in the 05. Running that high line is Chris Mackey, following Tanner Marr on up through. And a little further up, Dustin Ping continues to make his way through the field. This time, he's going to get around the 07 of Chris Rose. Maybe not. Chris Rose keeps that nose just to the outside of Mr. Ping, and down the front stretch we go. This battle for P5 will see itself complete as Dustin Ping slides up just enough as we see Leroy Koblenz, Andrew Caldwell side by side back here for P8. Andrew Caldwell going to slightly get into the wall. Shouldn't be anything too crazy. And they will remain side by side. Most of the field running single file as we take a look at everyone exiting turn number 4 right here. The 2 race leaders pulling away just a little bit. Gibson Mitchell. Most of the field single filed out, finding room to run. And that's, I think, going to be a product of the racetrack. Something we're going to see a lot of tonight is this kind of single file running. You've got to set up your passes. It's not going to be as easy as get to the guy in front of you, the guy or gal in front of you, and just make the pass. You're going to need to set it up at a track like this. Ideally, you get to the outside of the truck you're trying to pass. If you're on the inside, it might become a little more difficult, especially as these tires wear. That also means that if you're defending a position, you might have a slight advantage at a track like Auto Club. Maybe not due to dirty air per se, but simply because this track very much turns itself into a one-line, one-groove racetrack over time as the tires wear, particularly in these trucks. And what I mean by one-line, one-groove racetrack, despite how wide it is, despite that you could probably fit 7 or 8 of these trucks side by side on the racing surface, in terms of the fastest line around the track, on those worn tires, it gets to a point where you can't really run side by side, and if you are side by side, it's going to be the car on the outside that has that advantage. That's what I mean by a one-line, one-groove racetrack. We see that happen at a lot of different tracks, and sometimes it's the bottom, sometimes it's the top. In a track like this, it's going to be the outside. You want to keep that momentum up, especially with the reduced power of these trucks versus maybe the O'Reilly car or the Cup Series next-gen race cars. You see Chris Rose trying to work over Dustin Ping, trying to take that position back. He's going to dive down to the inside. That's something we were just talking about a minute ago. Chris Rose not going to be in the advantageous position down there on the bottom. He's going to have to slide back up. Dustin Ping's going to have the momentum down the front stretch, and that's going to make Chris Rose vulnerable to Ed Jurgen behind, who is going to look to the inside. Now, Ed Jurgen's got to be careful not to fall victim to the same exact thing we just saw happen to Chris Rose, where not only could he not make the pass, but he got himself susceptible to the car behind. And sure enough, Ed Jurgen is going to get worked over by Andrew Caldwell around the outside. You do not want to be on the car on the bottom. As tempting as it is to try and make the move to the inside of the driver in front of you, you get that run, you want to take it. As tempting as it is, this is usually what happens at Auto Club. Same could be said for its twin track Michigan. time and time again. You want to be the car on the outside, and we're going to see Jason Raymond go to the outside of Gary Bowman. Now, initiating the pass from the outside is a little more difficult because Gary has the opportunity to try and drive it really deep in to maintain the outside line. He chooses not to do it. Smart veteran move from Gary this early in the race. Jason Raymond's going to take that spot. Dustin Ping following suit on the outside, which is the preferred passing line. Dustin Ping might be looking for a 2-for-1 opportunity here if he can manage it, as our race leaders come across the line to make it lap 14. And oh, by the way, stage 1 ends at the end of lap 18. This race has been quite the battle, quite the intense, quite the action-packed event from top to bottom. Losing track of the lap count at this point. Greg Mitchell continuing to try and work over Cody Gibson. The pressure is on. Cody cannot run away at the moment. Jason Raymond up to third, Dustin Ping in fourth. But they may not have enough time to get to the race leaders before the end of stage 1. The question becomes, does Greg Mitchell have anything for Cody Gibson for the stage win? 10 points goes to the stage winner. 9 points still goes to P2 in the stage, however. You always want to be the driver to win the stage and have that track position, have control over the race. More battles further back. Ed Jurgen trying to get around Chris Rose. He almost clears him. Has to shoot way up the racetrack as he was not clear. He will have the momentum, however, off of the corner. Ed Jurgen solidly up into P7 as they run a little bit further back. That's going to be Rick Thompson in the 76, making his way through the field, up 10 positions. Going to work over Larry Bell now for position number 12. He's going to try to, but Larry Bell's got that outside line. Tom Richter going to follow suit, try and get back ahead of Rick Thompson if he can. Larry Bell down to the inside of teammate Tanner Marr, trying to make that move a little further back. Andy Cork to the inside of Nathan Dufton, trying to move on up in the field as well. Up front, the gap is widened just a little bit. Cody Gibson over Greg Mitchell. Still got a tight battle with Ed Jurgen running P7. Andrew Caldwell ahead, and Chris Rose trying to fend off the 92. For how long will he be able to is the question. Ed Jurgen drives it in deep on the bottom. Chris Rose going to have the advantage off of the corner, and that's going to be advantage 0-7 across the line. Working lap 17, 2 to go in stage number 1. Cody Gibson in control of the race by about half a second over Greg Mitchell. Further back, Gary Bowman, Dustin Ping. Battle is on for P4. Gary Bowman trying to get back around the 81. He's going to take it to the inside. Side drafting down the backstretch. That might open the door for Andrew Caldwell, who might fancy a shot down into turn number 3. Gary Bowman drives it very deep into the corner. He's going to try and slide job. He does. Gary Bowman in the 8 gets ahead of the 81. He's going to take the outside line as Dustin Ping now trades down to the bottom. Going to try and side draft. Where does Caldwell go? Caldwell sends it 3 wide across the line. 1 to go in stage number 1. Caldwell gets out of it. Dustin Ping drives it in. Gary Bowman keeps it stuck on the outside. Here comes Chris Rose as well. Down the back stretch, advantage outside line. Gary Bowman up. Here comes Chris Rose in the 07. He's going to get ahead of Dustin Ping in the 81 and through 3 and 4 for the final time in stage number 1. These drivers may have just sorted themselves out. It's going to be a drag race as Cody Gibson wins the stage, and to the line. We got a battle, but it's not over until the caution flag flies, and there it is. I think Ed Jurgen beat Dustin Ping across the line and to the yellow. We'll see how it all shakes out, but of course, not to be lost in all of that is our stage 1 winner, Cody Gibson. Driver second in the point standings. Driver arguably the fastest on ovals so far this season. Goes out there, scores the pole, wins stage 1. Has led every lap this evening so far. It's only been 18, but it's a great start nonetheless for that Flamin' Hot Cheetos number 1 Chevy Silverado. Cody Gibson's going to bring us around to catch that pace car And as the field gets squared away, let's take a look at our Stage 1 results. Cody Gibson, Greg Mitchell going to score 9 points. Jason Raymond's going to get 8. Gary Bowman in P4. Chris Rose rounds out the top 5 in stage number 1. Andrew Caldwell, Ed Jurgen, Dustin Ping, Tanner Marr. And the final stage point goes to Leroy Koblenz in P10. Tell you what, let's drag up our stage 1 winner. We got our stage 1 winner, driver of the one, Cody Gibson, up here in the booth. Well, I tell you what, Cody, you went out there, you got the pole, you led every lap in stage 1, you won stage 1, but it wasn't without challenge. You had Greg Mitchell all over your rear bumper that entire stage. Walk me through it.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to save a couple laps on my tires, but he was staying right with me. Maybe he was doing the same thing, but then I started pulling away, so maybe I did save enough, and he didn't. So keep trying to do the same thing.
You got it. Well, I'll send you back down. Quick interview. Don't want to interrupt your pit stops. Good luck the rest of the night, Cody. And with that, our drivers make their way on to pit road. Far be it from me to distract a driver on their pit lane entry. We'll see how everyone does here. The entire field going to bring it on down onto pit road. We can go ahead and hide the driver info right here. We'll see as everyone makes their pit stops. I'm keeping a sharp eye on those speeding penalties. If I see a speeding penalty, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. You'll be the first to hear it. Into the pit boxes we go. Keeping on with our race leader. Drivers on track taking a wave around at the moment and or a free pass. Everyone on the lead lap bringing it down on pit road. Gonna need to fuel it all the way up for this stage. Greg Mitchell gets a good launch. It's not gonna be good enough as Cody Gibson maintains the race lead. And everyone else gonna make their way on off pit road. It looks like nobody's gonna get caught by the speeding police today. If I am not mistaken, everyone has made it through all good and well. We do have 2 drivers out on track. Nathan Dufton in the 47, Logan Spencer in the 19. They have not pit. I am going to assume these 2 drivers are going to bring it down this time by, as they should be running on fumes at the moment. Whatever the reason being for them staying out, I'm not entirely sure. But around we go. Cody Gibson should maintain control of this race. And yep, the 47 and the 19 both going to pull off on the pit road. And that cycles us all the way back through. And I guess that would be a good time. We could maybe take a look at some of these furry friends. We got Greg Mitchell's dog on the hood. Dog and cat on the side, of course. We were looking at that a little earlier. Jason Raymond's 2 kitties on the side. Go down the list here. Chris Rose has got animals every which way you look. That 07 is a fun truck to look at. I love that rear bumper with the 2 eyes poking out at you. You got Ed Jurgen on the deck lid. A little bit difficult to see from any of these camera angles. I think if we go a little bit further back, let's see who we got here. Who's on track? We got that War Wagon. We got Daisy. We got Rip. I don't know what the third name is. I think it was a doggy that has since passed. Rest in peace. But love that out of the War Wagon. Gary Bowman with all those furry friends on the side of that 8 truck. See who else we got on track here, paying homage to any of their furry friends, their animals. We got a bunch of drivers on pit road. There's Philip Van Vliet, of course. I think we've gone through the field right there, just about. All right. We'll make sure we show off those furry friends tonight at the Fast and the Furriest here in Auto Club. That's what it's all about. If any of you guys out in the chat rooting on friends and family or otherwise have any furry friends at home, let us know what you're working with. Let us know who you got around. Cats, dogs, fish, snake, any of it and all of it. Let us know who's keeping you company in terms of pets as the pace car gets ready to pull us off. And Cody Gibson from the outside line in control once again. Down into turn 1 we go as we get up and through the gears. Greg Mitchell's got to keep a keen eye on the inside because Jason Raymond might have fancied a shot. Greg's going to get all the way up to the back of that number 1 truck, try and get him a little loose, maybe get to the inside. That 55 truck's not going to be able to do it yet, not unless he gets a good push, but Jason Raymond fancies second place. That 49 truck is on a mission, and he's going to send it down to the inside of Greg Mitchell. Watch out for Andrew Caldwell, who might have a say before it's done. Out of turn number 4 we go. Greg Mitchell going to widen out the track just a little bit, keep it pinned to the outside of that 49, and down the front straightaway we go. A little further back, Tom Richter, Dustin Ping battling it out towards the back of the top 10. Down into turns number 1 and 2 we go. Jason Raymond, he sends it in deep. He's going to slide all the way across the front bumper of the 55. Crossover move from Greg Mitchell down the backstretch. You can see the run he's getting with that side draft, and he's going to send it down into turn 3. Does Greg repay the favor? He's going to drive it in. Does he drive it in deep enough? No, he doesn't. He slides up just a little bit, but the 49 is there, and he might be bringing half of the field with him. Greg's got to be very careful at this point not to lose too many positions. Down into turn number 1 we go. Andrew Caldwell now in the conversation, and Cody Gibson cannot breathe because this is all happening inches away from his rear bumper. Jason Raymond up to second place, Greg Mitchell down to 3rd, Andrew Caldwell in 4th as we run. Chris Rose of the 07 holding on strong in the top 5. Tanner Marr has entered the conversation, as has Chris Mackey. Ed Jurgen still lingering towards the front as well. And out of turn number 4 we go. Going to be working lap 26 across the line. The battle now sits for P5. Chris Rose, Tanner Marr, and Chris Mackey all over the back of that Ford truck as we run. Incredible to see all of these drivers enter in a line and fan out into their different lanes through turns 1 and 2 right here, all to line back up on the back straightaway. A phenomenal track. Auto Club will get a good view into turn number 3 right here. Battle for P4. Andrew Caldwell to the outside. Chris Rose in the 07 to the inside. And up front, Jason Raymond might have something for Cody Gibson. These two are teammates at Five Kings Motorsports. Cody Gibson, Jason Raymond running 1-2 at the moment. Maybe Jason Raymond might have something where Greg Mitchell did not. Andrew Caldwell holds on to P4 at the moment, but here comes Tanner Marr to the inside. You can make passes on the inside, but you gotta do it while the tires are fresh, because once those tires start to wear in, oh my goodness, that was so close from Tanner Marr, sliding up in front of that 07. Perfectly placed slide job, put Tanner Marr into P5. But as I was saying, you gotta get those moves done early enough. Once those tires start to wear out a little too much, you can't really do it on the inside anymore. You got to make it happen on the outside. So Tanner Marr putting those newer tires to good use. A little further back, it's Dustin Ping and Ed Jurgen. They're going to be fighting it out in the trenches for P8. Tom Richter, Rick Thompson still battling back here. This is for P10. Final spot in the top 10, the 76 and the 34. With a whole field of Hungry Hippos running behind, and it looks like Tom might have gotten into the 76 just a little bit, just a little nudge right there. And gonna swap positions right here. Tom to the inside now. Gonna fancy a move into turn 1, but Rick Thompson hangs it around the outside. Great run from Rick to keep the momentum up right there. Leroy looks for a spot to the outside of Tom, but Tom's smarter than that, not going to let that happen so easily. Driver I haven't mentioned very much tonight, Matt Semple in the 16. He's up in this conversation, up 6, maybe 7 positions from where he started, working over Larry Bell and maybe Leroy Koblenz if he can get there. Man, it's tight between all of these drivers in the midfield at the moment. Oh my goodness. Looks like we got a little bit of a breakaway up front. 4-truck breakaway, and they are about as nose to tail as you can get before you get to Tanner Marr and Chris Rose, 2 drivers who are squabbling like crazy. Chris Rose looking for that run to the inside of Tanner Marr. He's going to get about even into the corner. What does Chris Rose do with this run? He's not going to be able to do too much if Tanner can keep it pinned. He's got help on the outside line. Out of turn number 4. They're about dead even. That was a fantastic corner from the 0-7. And to the line, it's going to be lap 31. We're racing to the end of 40. 4-0 for the end of stage number 2. As Chris Rose continues to try and work over Tanner Marr, nearly contact between those two. They keep it sorted, and now the 17 and the 81 are going to get to the outside of Chris Rose. Down the back straightaway, you can see just how big the momentum difference is, and now Chris Rose goes from battling for P5 to dropping down to P8 in one stretch of the track. That is just how crazy it gets. Dustin Ping just about makes contact with the 17, and does make contact down the front straightaway. The 81 and the 17 get together, trying to side draft. All is fair in love and war. They keep it going, and we're 3 wide into turn number 1. Dustin Ping trying to pull the slide job. Is Chris Mackey going to take it? Yes, he lets it go, and onto the back straightaway. Advantage 81 with maybe a push from the 07. Cannot look away. As we run, this is unbelievable stuff. So far, we got Kathy out in chat asking if Tom put any of the animals on the truck. I don't see them at the moment, Kathy, but at the end of stage 2, I'll step away for a moment and I will make double sure that I refresh all of these paint schemes to make, to just double triple check that I got everyone's active paint schemes, because there's a chance he may have. And I'll get back to you on that as we get closer to stage 3. I was also expecting to see Lucky and Lucas on that 34 truck tonight, so we'll see how that goes. But back to the battles. It's Dustin Ping trying to work over Tanner Marr down into turn number 3. That's going to be for P5. The tail end of the top 5, and Chris Rose not ready to go away yet. That 07 truck might be going 3 wide right here. He is on a mission. Down the front straightaway, Tanner Marr with the advantage. Dustin Ping to the inside. Chris Rose now with a very good spot on the outside. Can he wrap it around both of these drivers? He's going to try and pin it. Can't quite get there to the 4 truck, but he's going to have the advantage on Dustin Ping all the way down the back straightaway. Great shot right here as we head down into turn 3. Chris Rose healthily into P6 now, and Ed Jurgen is in the picture. Going to put the pressure on the 81 of Dustin Ping. To the inside goes the 92. Going to try and make that position. Chris Rose pushes Tanner Marr all the way down the front stretch. See what he decides to do into turn number 1. Feigns low, goes high. Does the 07. I don't know if he can get there fast enough to close off that high side or to secure it, but up front we got more pressing issues. Look at this, the 46 and the 55 are gonna bump draft their way past the 49 in one straightaway. These two work together to split up the teammates of the 1 and the 49. Caldwell and Mitchell feel like they might be better off if they split up the teammates, and that they do. But Caldwell is not ready to give up yet. He's going to get to the outside of Greg Mitchell. And Andrew Caldwell fancies a shot. We might go 3 wide into turn number 1. As Jason Raymond looks to the inside, he can't get there. But here comes Andrew Caldwell around the outside of the 55. Look at the momentum down the back straightaway. That 46 Toyota Tundra is going to be taking over P2 into turn number 3. Can Greg make it stick on the bottom? Does he give the position up? It looks like the latter. And Cody Gibson loves what he's seeing in his rearview mirror as we can move Andrew Caldwell up to P2. That battle further back between Tanner Marr and Chris Rose, it is ever ongoing, and they're catching up to Jason Raymond now, who seems to be falling back just a little bit. We might be going 3 wide into turn 1 in the midfield as Chris Mackey, Larry Bell, Leroy Koblenz, even Brad Holmes in the conversation now. And we are 3 wide for a moment. These drivers are going to get it settled out. We got Andy Cork peeking a nose back there as well. So many battles to keep an eye on. So many drivers to watch through tonight's event. This Hornet's Nest right here, this has, these guys have not calmed down once this entire evening, I tell you what. We're coming to the end of stage number 2. Drivers are going to be a little close on fuel. Reminder that a fuel run is 22 to 24 laps. I think everyone can make it, but it doesn't mean that they won't be close. On their number, Cody Gibson leads, Andrew Caldwell in P2, closest battle on track. A little further back, that's Dustin Ping, Ed Jurgen. These two are going to be sick of each other by the end of tonight's race. They'll probably be sick of each other by the end of the stage here, if I had to guess. And that 34 truck, he's not going away. Tom Richter peeking a nose and maybe getting a little racing stripe on the right side of that Chevy Silverado, that 34 across the line. Currently running in position number 9, having fended off Rick Thompson, the driver in P10. Tom Richter looking for some long-run speed. Looks like he might have found something. A little further up front, Greg Mitchell trying to maybe peek a nose to the inside of Andrew Caldwell. Not going to get there on that occasion. 2 to go in stage number 2. And Jurgen Ping is a battle that seems to infinitely rage. They're raging. The battle is raging. I don't know what word I'm looking for here. Across the line, 1 to go in stage number 1. It's Cody Gibson in control, but look at this. Dustin Ping with a fantastic move to the outside of Ed Jurgen down that front straightaway. That looked like a move that I would try to make, trying to whip it to the outside last second when they don't expect it. But Ed Jurgen drove it in very deep, and that was a phenomenal run from the 92 to hold on to that position. Greg Mitchell's going to look to the inside of Caldwell. He's got 1 corner to make it happen for the stage points. Can Greg Mitchell make it stick? Andrew Caldwell's got the preferred line, and out of turn number 4, that 46 is going to keep that position. The 49 looks to the inside of the 55. Remember, it's when the caution comes out, and it comes out quick enough for the positions to remain as they were at the line. And with that, a chaotic race is already 2 stages down. I still am convinced I haven't taken a single breath for the entirety of this event. But your race leader and stage winner, not only that, but stage sweeper, is going to be driver number 1, Cody Gibson. Got the pole, 1 stage 1, 1 stage 2. I don't think he led every lap. Actually, no, he might have led every lap still, if I had to guess, because those 2 cars that stayed out that one time, I think they pit before they led a lap, so we'll book it as Cody Gibson's led every lap so far. We'll see if that trend continues. Cody Gibson wins stage number 2. I won't pull him up before a pit stop again and be in a rush there on an interview, but Cody Gibson on a tear in that 1 truck. Andrew Caldwell, though, something to be said about that 46. He's up 9 positions from where he started, and now in P2. Andrew Caldwell is looking racy as ever. Tanner Marr in the 4 truck is up 10 positions from where he started. He runs in P6. Rick Thompson in P10. He's up 13 positions. Chris Mackey in 11th is up 20 positions. And those are your biggest movers as we run. Drivers are going to get ready to make their pit stops, and we are going to go to a quick little commercial while I catch my breath, and we will be right back at it before too long whatsoever. Alright, I think I've got all of these paint schemes reloading, as I was mentioning a little bit earlier. You'll see some gray trucks on track as all of these load in slowly but surely. So pardon that. While it happens, we'll take a look at the end of pit lane right here. On board with our race leader, driver of the 1, we'll see if he gets beaten off by any of these drivers. Great exit from Andrew Caldwell right there. And across the line we go, keeping an eye out for any speeding penalties. Cody Gibson holds on ahead of Andrew Caldwell. Dustin Ping takes 2 tires. Dustin Ping takes 2 tires to try and get the track position. Interesting call from the 81 truck to jump up quite a few positions under that pit road sequence. We'll see how that plays out for the 81 truck. I don't know if I would have made that. I don't know how much the tire wear is, to be fair. I'm up here in the booth, but that's an iffy call. I don't know. That was, let me see, about 20 laps? 20 or so laps on that set of tires? Could work out pretty good for that 81. We'll have to see. As for Tom Richter in the 34, looks like we're still in the die-hard truck. No furry friends made it on board this week, maybe a little too busy. But nonetheless, I tell you what I do want to do. Let's see if we can... see if we can pull up driver in P2. Driver in P2, driver of the 46 truck. Andrew, you are up 9 positions from where you started, running now in P2. You're going to be restarting on the front row. You have looked as racy as ever, trying to take the battle to the 1 of Cody Gibson. Now that we're in stage 3, do you think you got anything for him?
Oh, is this working? I don't know if it's working. Do you hear me?
I hear you now.
I don't know, really. I stayed in line there, kind of saved some tires, and once I saw the designation start, I kind of started pushing to see what I could get, and it still felt pretty good. So hopefully I execute this restart and can maintain here and kind of ride and see what happens.
All right, well, we'll be rooting for you up here in the booth. Good luck the rest of the way, Andrew, and we'll send him back down with his team. Driver out of Bradford, Ontario. We'll keep tabs on that 46, excuse me, as the night continues on. Lights are out on that pace car. We'll get ready to get us under green once again. Cody Gibson, the control truck on the outside, which seems to be the preferred line for both restarts and defending. We'll see what Andrew can do from there. Dustin Ping, second car on the inside on 2 tires. The rest on 4. Into the restart zone we go. Cody Gibson, quick on the loud pedal. And he's going to bring Greg Mitchell with him. This is not what Andrew Caldwell wanted to see, as Greg Mitchell would be a tough driver to pass a second time. Here comes Tanner Marr into the conversation in that 4 truck for maybe the first time, knocking on the door of the top 3. He might get there as Andrew Caldwell cannot get that momentum off of turn number 2. Nobody on the inside line could. And down into turn 3 we go. Gibson, Mitchell, Marr, your top 3 breakaway. And the battle is on for 4th. Caldwell and Raymond trying to sort it out. They got Jurgen, Ping, Rose, Thompson, Richter all behind in a big old kerfuffle. Gotta say that word at least once a night, just because I know Tom will watch it after the fact. Andrew Caldwell holding on to the inside. Jason Raymond not going away, though. Going to try and take that momentum down the backstretch. Going to have a huge run. Is that 49? You can see him pulling that gap, bringing the 07 with him. That outside line has such a run of momentum down that back straightaway. It is something to behold. Andrew Caldwell maybe trying to slide drop the 49. He's going to do it, but the 49 was ready. Bit of a crossover move for Jason Raymond, who's going to draw level with that 46 for now, but down into turn 1, how is this going to play out? The top 3 have it sorted out. Tanner Marr up to P2 as we run. Jason Raymond drives it in deep. He's going to wash up the track and move Andrew Caldwell up with him, but Caldwell's got the 07 coming for help, and that's going to clear the 46 out of danger for truck breakaway. But Caldwell gets into the wall on entry, not what he needed to see, and now the door is open as Andrew Caldwell drops 1, 2, 3 positions through turns 3 and 4, hitting the wall on entry. gives P4 up to this battle right here. Jason Raymond on the inside, Chris Rose on the outside in that 07, trying to make something work. Don't count out Rick Thompson in that Miller Lite red, white, and blue paint scheme. He's going to try and get to the inside of Chris Rose, who bounces it off of the wall, fighting for everything he's worth. Rick Thompson now up into the conversation, trying to ruffle some feathers just a little bit. Tom Richter now in that red and black 34 Die Hard Chevy Silverado, looking to make some moves in the top 10. Andrew Caldwell has plummeted since the restart, cannot get away from that bottom line, and every one of these drivers fancies a shot around the outside. Andrew Caldwell is going to find a spot in P8 before he can get back up to the outside, and now he's looking to the inside yet again, but he might have company on the on his inside in the form of the 92 of Ed Jurgen, who's been lingering in the top 10 all night long. Ed's going to dive back into line right there, and it looks like most of these drivers have it sorted up front. Cody Gibson and teammate Tanner Marr running 1-2 as there's pressure on Greg Mitchell from a third Five Kings Motorsports driver in the form of Jason Raymond in that 49 truck, trying to make it 1, 2, 3 for that team at the moment. Rick Thompson fancying a move over Chris Rose. Rick Thompson wants to get into the top 5, but Chris Rose has been putting on a phenomenal performance this evening. Lots of speed out of that 07. Just what he needs after a bad season up to this point. Good stuff from Chris Rose. Rick Thompson quietly creeping into the picture. Rick Thompson, a truck who we've seen have race-winning speed previously, but has yet to win a race in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. He's hungry to get it done, as he's going to bounce it off of the wall just a little bit. Does that open the door for the 34 truck down the front straightaway? Not quite. Following up with some earlier developments, Dustin Ping took 2 tires on that last pit sequence. He finds himself in P12 at the moment after restarting P3. Safe to say the 2 tires did not quite work in the way Dustin was hoping for. Tried to loosen that truck up just a little bit, and it did not do good things, as Tanner Marr's got a mirror full of Greg Mitchell, who's got a mirror full of Jason Raymond up at the front right now. Cody Gibson trying to take the opportunity to run away while he can. Little bit of a battle further back. Ed Jurgen, Larry Bell, who's very quietly in the top 10 right now. Larry Bell, a driver who has kept his nose clean tonight, run his race, and found himself picking up one position after the next. Great run from Larry Bell so far. Great run from Andy Cork, running up in P15. P16 if Brad Holmes makes this pass right now, but the 41 truck has been lingering in the midfield a lot this evening. Good showing out of Mr. Cork. A little further up front, Rick Thompson has finally cleared the 07 of Chris Rose, moved the 76 truck up to P5. We might have a battle for the race lead, potentially. Tanner Marr looked to the inside of Cody Gibson. He couldn't quite get there. He had to think about it. That's going to open that gap up, and it might even open the door for Greg Mitchell to make a move down the back straightaway. Not this time. So they will reset and have another go. Assuming there's no contact yellows, we'll be looking for green flag pit stops for the first time this evening, happening at around lap 60. Let's see. I would venture to say around lap 63, 64 is about when I would assume a couple, we might see some of the first drivers making their way on a pit road. A fuel tank will last you about 22 to 24 laps. Drivers will last pit on, it's probably lap 41. So maybe 63, 64 on the lap counter before we see green flag pit stops. That gives us about 10, 11 laps until we start to see those. Drivers have until then to kind of fight it out, figure out where they want to be, how they want to do it, what strategy they want to play. And all of those sorts of details that I'm glad I don't have to figure out at the moment, being up here in the booth. We got a battle further back. Nathan Dufton in the 47. Brad Holmes in the 00. Logan Spencer in the 19. Couple names we haven't said too much tonight. Eric Anderson in the 43. Trying to move on up just a little bit right here. Currently running in P18 on track. That 43's got some furry friends on board, I tell you what. Got a whole bunch of furry friends on board. Wonder if we can get a, I don't know if we have that, oh yeah, I think we might. It's a little too zoomed out. I was hoping maybe we'd get a good view of that deck lid right there. So hard to. Maybe from right here. Oh, there's the snake. There we go. We got a couple cats. We got the snake right in the middle. I believe that's Eric's daughter's snake. You'll have to correct me post-race if I'm wrong on that one. I think we've seen that snake make an appearance on Thunderstruck before our podcast. Good stuff from the 43. Continue to battle it out with Logan Spencer, Brian Dorsey, back here in P18 on track. Up front, Cody Gibson uncontested, but Tanner Marr is getting some help from the 55. Greg Mitchell not fancying a move right now, just wants to close that gap to the 1 truck. And even further back from that, Tom Richter gonna make a move on Jason Raymond in the 49. Down into turn 1, he sends it in deep and around the outside. We roll. Driver 34 finds himself up 11 spots from where he started. Now currently running in P6 is Tom Richter, and that's here's diehard throwback truck that he loves to run. Got a little bit of a gap ahead of him. Little tiny bit of somewhat cleaner air to try and pull up to the back of that 07, and that he will. If there's one thing I know about Tom, it's that he likes to pit on the short side of a fuel run or of a pit window. Likes to come in early. He'll be one of the first drivers to pull it on a pit road. If you know, if trends, if history serves me right. Tanner Marr's going to slide way up the track, I tell you what, and that's going to open the door for Greg Mitchell in the 55. He's going to get the run all the way down the backstretch. Does Tanner Marr fight it? He's going to drive it in deep into turn 3. He's going to drive it in really deep. Tanner Marr trying to make it stick on the outside. Can he do it and keep it off the wall? Yes, he can. Cody Gibson, teammate in the 1's going to give him the draft down the front straightaway to keep that advantage as we've got another battle further back here. That's going to be Tom Richter looking to the inside of the 07. Andrew Caldwell to the inside of the 49. 2x2x2 on very old tires at this point. How is this going to shake out for everyone? The 4 and the 55 are still side by side. Tom Richter still trying to get around that 07. He's not going to be able to get there that time. Does he go for it again? He does. To the inside one more time for the 34. And they're all going to square out the 07 into the wall, and he's going to dive down to the inside of the 76. And now Chris Rose looking to take over P4 on track if Rick Thompson doesn't keep that 76 car glued in. Oh, they're going to make contact into turn 1. The 76 washes up the track ever so slightly. That could have been so much worse, but Rick Thompson in the 76 is going to hold on as Tom Richter in the 34 down the back straightaway going to take away P5 from Chris Rose, who's going to have to fight back on the inside. Further back, Ed Jurgen, as well as Jason Raymond, Matt Semple, they're almost 3 wide, battling it out at the back part of the top 10. Tom Richter now to the inside of Rick Thompson in the 76. He's going to pull that side draft all the way down the front straightaway, pull even, and down to the inside. How far does Tom Richter send it into turn 1? He's not going to get a chance because Rick Thompson sent it in extremely far into the corner, and both of them are going to lose a lot of momentum down the back straightaway. That's going to open the door for the 46 of Caldwell, who elects to push the 76. No, he gets out of it. Caldwell gets out of it, and Tom Richter and the 76 make contact, and Rick Thompson shoots up the track. Rick Thompson has to get out of the gas, and that drops him 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 positions. As Tom Richter takes over P4, the battle further behind rages 3 wide into turn number 1. Jurgen, Raymond, and Thompson, Semple somehow in this conversation in the 16 truck, making his way up one spot at a time before these green flag pit stops begin. That 16 truck is up 13 positions from where he started. We got to start thinking about green flag pit stops as Andrew Caldwell looks to the outside of Tom Richter in the 34. This is a battle for P4 on track. Caldwell's not going to get there this time. Does Tom defend the outside? Does Andrew Caldwell get a shot? He's going to elect to push the 34, try and close that gap to our race leaders. Specifically, the 4 and the 55, currently running P2 and 3. Looks like Greg Mitchell has gotten around Tanner Marr finally. It took him long enough, but Greg Mitchell has made that pass for P2. This battle for P4, it's not going away, as Chris Rose looks to the outside. Andrew Caldwell in the middle. Do they make contact? They do! Chris Rose holds on to it narrowly as the 34 is going to be the first truck. The second truck as Greg Mitchell also brings it down on pit road. Get it woed down in time. No speeding penalties. And we've got our first race leaders down. Greg Mitchell, Tom Richter, Eric Anderson, all on pit road as we run. Cody Gibson holds on to the race lead. When do the other leaders decide to pit? We're going to put the track map up so that we can keep an eye on all these little dots on track right now. The 55, the 34, both grayed out. They're on pit road right now. Everyone else, full color, they're on track. Cody Gibson's going to pull it in this time by. How many of the race leaders elect to follow suit? Cody Gibson pulls it down. Tanner Marr pulls it down. Andrew Caldwell, Ed Jurgen, Larry Bell, Leroy Koblenz, Andy Cork, all going to bring it down as well. Nathan Dufton back there. They come one lap later. Driver still on track. Chris Rose, Matt Semple, Dustin Ping had already made his pit stop. Rick Thompson stays out. Chris Mackey, Logan Spencer, Brad Holmes. We're going to see how all of this plays out at the moment. But first car from the initial pit stop, Greg Mitchell in the 55 in turns 3 and 4. Cody Gibson, our former race leader, is still on pit road. And he is now exiting pit road. But I tell you what, this looks pretty good for Greg Mitchell in the 55, who's going to be making his way around into turn number 1. Is he going to get there in time? It's going to be close. Cody Gibson fighting for his life. Here comes Greg Mitchell, the white and red 55 from the rear end of the 1 truck. Does Greg get there in time? Cody Gibson's tires are cold. Into turn number 3 and 4 we go. We're side by side for the effective race lead. Greg Mitchell with the undercut. He's gonna take the lead, and Cody Gibson sideways on those cold tires. Gotta make it stick, and now tucks back into line behind that 55. He's gotta try and chase him down to have a shot once again. Unbelievable stuff going on at the effective front of the field. Meanwhile, Rick Thompson in the 76 yet to pit, still out on track right now, hoping for a caution in the lead of this race, followed by Chris Mackey in the 17. Brad Holmes has not pit. Philip Van Vliet in the 89 has not pit. Steven Music in the 09. Gary Bowman in the 8 truck. Mike Stuyvesant in the 20. All drivers who have not pit. I missed it initially, but the first driver to pit was the 81 of Dustin Ping, who is going to be the race leader, assuming the others pit, and these two don't get to him in time, but they're right there, and Cody Gibson is all over the back of Greg Mitchell in the 55. Look at this battle down the back straightaway. That 1 truck is not ready to give this race up. Cody Gibson doing everything he can to fight Greg Mitchell for the race lead. Dustin Ping is going to be a slower truck. How does this impede Greg Mitchell? He's going to take it to the inside. Cody Gibson to the outside. He's going to push Dustin Ping down the front straightaway. Maybe make it 3 wide. No, he doesn't have the momentum. Down into turn 1. Greg Mitchell going to pass Dustin Ping for the effective race lead. And now Cody Gibson down to the inside of Dustin Ping as well. That 81 truck subject to older tires. He can't put up too much of a fight right here. He's going to slide back into P3. And the battle for the race lead is on between our top two in the point standings, the 55 and the 1 down. Into turn 3 we go, advantage Greg Mitchell. Cody Gibson's gonna try and get a nose in there. Philip Van Vliet pulls it down on pit road, and 3 drivers remain on track having not made their pit stops yet. Rick Thompson, Chris Mackey, Mike Stiverson. As Cody Gibson gets to the outside of Greg Mitchell, trying to make it work around the outside. Greg Mitchell can't pull the slide job, and Cody Gibson's there out of turn number 2. Driver of the 1 car takes the lead with a head full of momentum down the back straightaway. Make it 0.2 of a second into turn 3. The advantage the 1 truck had down the back stretch. Cody Gibson back in control here in Auto Club as we work lap number 70. Rick Thompson, Mike Stiverson trying to stretch it long enough to make it a 1 stop to the end of the race. Perchance, perhaps, maybe it was enough for Rick Thompson. Mike Stiverson is much further back on track, and let's jump on board with Mike Stiverson right here. He's about to lose the race lead as the leaders are coming up behind. Mike Stiverson has that truck shut off. And he's going to go around one more time on board with driver number 20. Now that the pit stops have played out, we'll hide that track map. You can hear him cutting off the engine there, entering the corner. All right, Mike Stiverson trying to make it a 1 stop to the end of the race. Cody Gibson's going to come around and take the race lead down the back straightaway. We'll see if that works out for Mike Stiverson in the 20, for Rick Thompson in the 76. All of these other drivers are going to have to make it 1 more pit stop for a total of 2. Mike Stiverson, Rick Thompson, those drivers trying to make it on only the 1 pit stop as opposed to the 2. You do lose time saving fuel, so it boils down to saving more time than those who make 2 pit stops. But I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if I love the lap count to make that work. We'll see how it plays out for these guys. But up front, Cody Gibson has the advantage. That's going to be half a second over Greg Mitchell in the 2nd place. Tanner Marr up to 3rd, running comfortably in that position. Dustin Ping in 4th. Tom Richter runs in 5th. Andrew Caldwell 6th. Larry Bell in 7th, but maybe not for long because Jason Raymond is looking to the inside of that 05. Ed Jurgen, Matt Semple, Eric Anderson runs in P11. Brian Dorsey, Leroy Koblenz, Andy Cork, and Nathan Dufton, our top 15 on track as we run. Larry Bell going to hold on at the moment to P7. Tom Richter, Andrew Caldwell, they're in a battle now as Caldwell looks to make the move around Tom Richter. Caldwell pit 1 lap later than Tom did. Got slightly fresher tires. Both of these drivers have 3 to 4 lap fresher tires than the driver in front, Dustin Ping. They'll be chasing down that 81 truck if they can. That 46 dives to the inside. Tom's not going to let him get the advantage, and they're going to bring it all the way down the front stretch. Drag race into turn number 1, advantage 34. Does Caldwell continue to find on the inside? He does. Down into turn 1, trying to make that move stick. But Richter's got the preferred line on the outside as they close in on that camouflage 81 truck just ahead. Further back, the 05 and the 49 are bump drafting down the straightaways. Those 2 teammates trying to close the gap. Make up some time on track, working together. These 2 cannot get away from each other, the 46 to 34. Side by side, neck and neck, just about every single lap. We are working lap 75 with 26 to go in tonight's event, race number 12 of the season. Cody Gibson has grown that gap out front to about 3/4 of a second over Greg Mitchell, who's got another second on Tanner Marr in 3rd place. Tanner having a phenomenal run tonight. Hero Auto Club up 13 positions from where he started, one of our biggest movers. Is Tom going to clear the 46 right here, maybe get the advantage just in time to catch the 81? Looks like it. These two will probably catch Dustin down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Through turns 1 and 2 we go. That 81 just holding on with those older tires. 3 to 4 laps makes a lot of a difference here. It's a 2-mile track. 4 laps is 8 more miles on those tires. 8 more miles at full race speed is considerable. Down into turns 3 and 4 we go. Tom Richter followed by Andrew Caldwell. Going to try and make that move around Dustin Ping in the 81. Dustin's going to fight it. And Andrew's going to have to enter or exit the corner shallow. That's going to hurt the 46. In his efforts to stay with the 34, he's going to have to fight that 81 just a little bit as the 34 goes unimpeded into turns 1 and 2. Here's where we'll really see the difference. Unless Caldwell can make it stick on the bottom, he does make it stick. Great job by Andrew Caldwell not to lose time trying to get around that 81 right there in an inopportune position. A little further back, Larry Bell's under pressure. Matt Semple in the 16 truck, he's going to make his way around Larry Bell for position 8. Jason Raymond got around earlier. Now Ed Jurgen fancies a shot at Larry Bell for P9 on track. Got to go back a little bit before you get to Leroy Koblenz in the 42 running in P11. We got a Graybeard. We got a Graybeard choo-choo train going on right now with Leroy, Eric, and Andy. 3 teammates back here, 11th, 12th, and 13th on track. Sticking together. Teamwork is the dream work, or something like that. I think there's a saying. Continue to watch this battle. One of the closest battles on track at the moment. Excuse me, this is the closest battle on track at the moment. Nathan Dufton around Brian Dorsey, maybe going to take Chris Mackey with him. Yes, indeed. Going to take Chris Mackey with him. Brian Dorsey holding on for dear life here on older tires. Last spin on lap 61. Drivers around him 64, 64, 69, 65. Brian Dorsey fading on older tires. Chris Mackey on some of the newest tires, making his way up through the field in that 17 truck. Trying to make something happen out of a crazy strategy. This battle's heating up right here, though. The battle for P4. Tom Richter, Andrew Caldwell, all the way down on the apron goes the 46. Trying to make it clear. He's going to try and slide job. He doesn't do it. And Tom Richter holds on. That's going to hurt the 46 tremendously down the front straightaway. The 49 of Jason Raymond is going to get around the 46. Matt Semple in the 16 is going to have a shot at the 46 down into turn 1. As the 49 looks to the inside of Tom Richter in the 34 now. Into turns 1 and 2 we go. Jason Raymond on a mission, trying to claw up some positions. Jason Raymond 2-lap newer tires than Tom Richter in the 34. Matt Semple's got 3-lap newer tires than Tom Richter in the 34. Matt Semple playing an interesting strategy to have the freshest tires of the bunch, and it's working out for that 16 truck in a big way, as Matt Semple finds himself now in P5, looking to the inside. He's going to take the slingshot and try and clear Tom Richter into turns 1 and 2. Tom sends it in on the middle, but Matt Semple's got the grip. 3-lap newer tires will do that. And down the back straightaway goes Matt Semple unimpeded. Gets the job done very quickly. And now we await the final pit stops of the race. I expect most every driver will have to make at least one more pit stop, and those who don't are going to be walking a fine line to try and make it all the way to the end. On just the one stop, Andrew Caldwell is going to have another go. Meanwhile, first pit stop, Larry Bell, Chris Rose, both on pit road. Brian Dorsey on pit road. And so begins the final pit stop sequence. Cody Gibson, a 1.5 seconds over Greg Mitchell, who's got about the same distance over Tanner Marr. Matt Semple holding on ahead of this group. Andrew Caldwell has gone around Tom Richter for P5 on track. We'll see if any of our race leaders elect to bring it down this time by Looks like Dustin Ping is going to be the first of this bunch to bring us down. Greg Mitchell, excuse me, was the first of the bunch. Greg Mitchell going to try and short pit Cody Gibson once again, this time from about a second and a half out. Is the 55 trying to make this work? Interesting call from Greg, but Greg's going to try and do whatever Cody Gibson isn't doing. He's going to elect the pit first. Does Cody Gibson react, or does Cody decide to stay out, having seen one lap newer tires make enough of a difference? Does he pull it down now? Does he go for newer tires? He's going to pull it down now. Cody Gibson reacts to Greg Mitchell trying to pull the undercut. Does he get a clean entry? He does. Nice and steady for driver number one. He's going to pull teammate Tanner Marr on pit road as well. Jason Raymond, Ed Jurgen, both coming onto pit road. Andy Cork onto pit road. And this gives the lead to the 16 truck, maybe the 46 truck. Matt Semple with company in the form of Andrew Caldwell. They're going to be in control of this race as we run. Greg Mitchell just now exiting pit road ahead of this pack right here. And we're going to keep an eye on this battle for the race lead one more time, though this time I think Cody Gibson might hold on to it. We're going to put that track map up just for a bit as Greg Mitchell makes his way across the front straightaway at speed. Cody Gibson in that one, making his way into turn one. You can see it on the right head of your screen, that bright yellow number one. Through turns 3 and 4, I think Cody Gibson's going to get up to speed with time to spare to hold on to the race lead ahead of Greg Mitchell in the 55. This time, not quite as close, and it is no contest. Meanwhile, Matt Semple continues to hold on to the lead of this race. Might be looking to make a pit stop this time by Tom Richter in P2. Still waiting for his pit stop as well. Down on a pit road goes the 16 and the 34. Both are going to be pulling it down this time by. They're going to have some pretty good tires for that final stretch. Looks like Tom Richter just got it slowed down in time. Just barely. And that gives the lead to the 17 of Chris Mackey, who last pit on lap 69. We expect Chris to be able to make it to roughly lap 92 without saving fuel. And with saving fuel, well, we'll see how far he gets. Brad Holmes, last pit on lap 67. He's worse off on fuel. Rick Thompson pit on lap 70. He's going to be the best on fuel out of these guys. Without saving, Rick would be estimated to take it to about lap 93, maybe 94, off of pitting at lap 70. That's not enough to get to the end saving. You're not going to save that much fuel, but it might be enough to keep you out long enough for a late race caution to benefit you if you're the 76, if you're the 00, if you're the 19 or the 89. Likely what they are trying to pull at the moment. De facto race lead lies in the hands of Cody Gibson in the 1. He's got 1.5 seconds to Greg Mitchell in second place as we run. Our former winner in Auto Club, previous winner in Auto Club, is the 55. We've got the 4 of Tanner Marr, Larry Bell, Dustin Ping, Andrew Caldwell, Eric Anderson would be drivers who have already made their final pit stop in the order as they run. You can see Chris Mackey exiting pit road right there, having made his pit stop. This gives the race lead to Rick Thompson. There are 5 drivers, make it 4 drivers who are still on track yet to pit. Rick Thompson, Logan Spencer, Philip Van Vliet, Gary Bowman, as Brad Holmes is now on pit road out of the 5th position. We'll see how long these drivers elect to stay out. We'll see if they push it as far as they possibly can. They're not going to. Maybe, I thought I heard Rick Thompson get out of it enough to pit, but maybe it was just fuel saving right there for the 76. The 19 in second place, going to keep it out. Philip Van Vliet's going to stay out. Gary Bowman, half a track behind, just about. Quarter of a track behind. I'll give Gary some credit. Off of turn 4 right there. He's running a quiet race. I don't know about these drivers. I don't think there's enough, and I don't know how many of them are using crew chiefs, but I don't think there's enough gadgets and gizmos out there to be able to save this much fuel at a track this big. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Chad Knaus, if you're, I don't know, what are some other good crew chiefs? Cliff Daniels, if you're Ray Everham, it don't matter. Not enough gadgets and gizmos, and Rick Thompson's going to pay back Tom Richter a little bit right there. Remember, there was contact earlier in the race. Tom Richter moved Rick Thompson out of the way for position in the top 5. You can see Rick Thompson unhappy and signaling that down the front stretch, getting into the side of the 34 just a little bit. Letting him know that he remembers. Down into 3 and 4 we go. The 76 and the 19 running 1-2. It looks like the 19 might be keen on taking over the race lead. Both trying to save fuel, both trying to stretch it as far as they can. Are Rick Thompson and Logan Spencer. Philip Van Vliet a little bit further back in that 89 truck. Let's ride on board with Philip, why don't we? Philip is not currently shutting this truck off. Looks like Philip did most of his saving in the last stint, and right now he's just happy to run it out as far as he can. Gary Bowman's on pit road now. See if Philip turns it off into 3. He does not. So driver of the 89 happy to run it out. Rick Thompson is still saving quite a bit. Logan Spencer saving less. He's going to take over the race lead in the 19 truck as we run. Down into turn 1 right here. Got about, what is that? I would say 15 or so seconds back to Cody Gibson, who has made his final pit stop and is very good to go to the end of the race. So we'll see how much longer these drivers can make it as we work lap 92. We are now getting to the danger zone of how far these drivers can stretch it. The clock is ticking, and we're going to find out. But at the moment, Cody Gibson 3 seconds over Greg Mitchell in second place. Logan Spencer pulls it down. That's one of our 3 remaining drivers down on pit road. Having yet to pit, relinquishes the lead. Back to Rick Thompson in the 76. Philip Van Vliet in the 89. The only 2 drivers yet to make their pit stop. You can hear how quiet the 76 is. Making his way around the corner right there, shutting it all the way off. Philip Van Vliet is closing this gap significantly as he is not saving fuel at this point in the race. At least not noticeably so. We'll see if they elect to do it this time on lap 93. Rick Thompson is not going to pull it down. And that's going to give Philip Van Vliet the race lead across the line. I don't know who led that lap, but Philip Van Vliet into P1 until that fuel tank says otherwise. Got to be coming down just about any moment now. Does the 89, especially without saving fuel. Rick Thompson's going to stubbornly do everything he can to not pit for as long as he can help it. Over those bumps down the back straightaway, you can see that the gap that's being formed right now with 7 laps to go. Does Philip pull it down this time? Yes, he does. Perhaps just trying to go up there and get a lap led. So Philip Van Vliet's going to pull it down. Rick Thompson back out front once more, but not for long because Cody Gibson is on a charge, and Cody Gibson will catch Rick whether or not Rick has to make that pit stop. That one truck is on a mission. It's not often that you can pull 3.5 seconds on the 55 truck in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. I know, I'm speaking from experience. Out driving Greg Mitchell is a tough feat, and Cody Gibson has figured something out this season, particularly tonight in Auto Club. Assuming it all continues to go well for driver number 1. Gotta fuel this rivalry. This is a fun rivalry between these two, Cody Gibson, Greg Mitchell. And tonight has been a fantastic battle of the Titans in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. And let's not forget, it wasn't that long ago in which Cody Gibson was one of those drivers in the when will he finally win a race list. Cody Gibson went many races here without winning a race, and we were all wondering when it would happen. Well, from the day it did happen in the finale of last season, Cody Gibson has been near unstoppable out on track in that one truck. He's going to take over the race lead from Rick Thompson, who is holding on for dear life. We'll keep tabs on Rick Thompson. We'll see if he makes it to the finish line, but it will not be in first place, as Cody Gibson has now resumed the race lead with 4 laps to go in tonight's event here in Auto Club. The entire field spread out. We have had 1 incident caution this evening at the start of the race, 2 stage cautions, and we have run green ever since. You can see Gary Bowman, Mike Stiverson. This is a battle for position back in P22, 1 lap down. Gary Bowman's going to take over that spot ahead of the 20 and make his way further ahead on track. We watch Cody Gibson make his way through some more lap traffic. That's Mr. Fred Thompson on the inside, driver of the 79. A little bit of damage on the right front of that truck this evening. And, Cody Gibson's going to have to get out of it. Fred Thompson, all the way up the track on that one right there. No worries at the end of the day with a gap like that. Rick Thompson's down to 3rd place, but he is still rolling with 3 laps to go in tonight's event. Is this going to work out for Rick Thompson? I'm not thinking it will. I don't think it's possible. And it is not. Rick Thompson finally has to pull it down on pit road, and so ends the Cinderella story for the 76. We're down to 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks in the air as we get ready to call tonight's results official. Cody Gibson's just going to make it to the white flag, and all will be good in the world. We got a battle further back. It's Andrew Caldwell to the inside of Jason Raymond, looking for P5. This is a top 5 position, and Andrew Caldwell is going to get there on 1 lap newer tires. Makes the move on Jason Raymond and sets sail ahead. White flag is out for our race leader, Cody Gibson. And these battles might not be done yet. Dustin Ping falling into the clutches of Ed Jurgen, who has 1 lap newer tires as well. We're going to continue to monitor these battles as we go through the final lap right here. Andrew Caldwell is going to take that momentum all the way down the back straightaway. And Jason Raymond's not going to have too much of an option there. Ed Jurgen not close enough to make the move on Dustin Ping. And on to turn number 4 for the final time, Cody Gibson, driver of the 1, responds and wins in Auto Club. Greg Mitchell's going to bring us home in 2nd. Tanner Marr with the podium in 3rd. Fantastic run. Matt Semple came so close in 4th. Needed another lap or 2 to get there. Matt Semple brings us home in 4th. Andrew Caldwell finishes out the top 5. And with that, Cody Gibson yet again matches Greg Mitchell's win total on the season. I do believe both of these drivers are sitting at 4 or 5 apiece. I want to say 4 apiece on the season with this win right here. These two are trading blows 1 week after the next. Last week it was Greg Mitchell. This week it's Cody Gibson. I tell you what, we got our race winner, Cody Gibson, driver of the 1 truck. Pull you up while you're doing your burnouts. Cody, you ran a phenomenal race, and I think I mentioned it at one point, but it's not often that a driver pulls 3.5 seconds on Greg Mitchell in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. But you went out there and you showed everyone what was up tonight in Auto Club. It just looked like you were on another level. Walk us through your night tonight in Auto Club and just the whole of it, really.
Well, I will say it was kind of stressful the first 10 laps of a run because everybody was just together, and if somebody just dived on me in the corner and slide jobbed you, they would take it. So I'm lucky, Greg didn't try to take them opportunities at the beginning, and I was able to just save some of my tires, and of course I had my teammates helping me out, you know, 'cause I let them know, hey, I'm gonna be saving a little bit of tires, so I ain't going full out, you know, like driving deep in the corners. And Raymond was behind me, I think it was the second stage, and I don't know, I know I'm sweating.
Absolutely, after a race like that, I would imagine so. And I tell you what, Cody, one thing that we saw tonight, especially, but I think we've seen it, you know, as the season has gone on as well, and we can even see it right now with your teammate up there on the podium. But it seems like, you know, Five Kings Motorsports as a whole has really like found another level, especially with you hitting your stride. And you know, we've seen a lot of upped performance out of Tanner. We've seen great runs out of Jason. We've seen that whole team really come together and go out there and put on some good performances. So I guess just speak to that a little bit.
Well, we all, you know, at the beginning of the run, well, I guess you could say practice, we all get together and, hey, is this working? Is this working? Let's try 2 tires. Hey, that didn't work, so let's not do that during the race. And we just put all our heads together, work as a team, and, you know, that's what it's all about. You know, if you didn't have teammates, you'd be out there by yourself.
Absolutely. Well said. And I tell you what, I think this brings you back level with Greg Mitchell on wins for the season. I don't know, but regardless, it just feels like one week it's one of you guys throwing the punch, and the next week it's the other. It's quite the rivalry heating up for the rest of the season. And I tell you what, now that we're officially over halfway through the season, do you think you got what it takes? Do you think you got the edge over Greg for the championship?
I wouldn't say I got the edge. I think we're pretty close in speed, other than, you know, road courses, you know about that. But I don't know. It's going to be a battle. I mean, it could be anybody out here, basically. It's just whoever runs the best that night. It could be Greg, it could be Tanner. Hell, I don't know, any of the top 5, 10, 15 guys out here. It just, you never know. It's just whoever finds the groove that night and works the track, works their tires, finds the line, you know, and of course have teammates out there helping you. So it's all a gamble.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, it was a fantastic job tonight. You come out on top with the win under the lights. I'll open up the floor to you, Cody. Give any thank you, shout outs, haze, highs, and the likes for tonight's performance.
I'd like to thank the sponsor for tonight's race, Greg. Of course, all my teammates here at Five Kings, Jason, Tanner, Larry. Then, you know, y'all up in the booth, making it happen. I seen Rick was out here. I mean, not Rick. Tom was out here racing with us, not in the boot. I wish he was up here. He would have blocked me a few more times, but I will say, watch out for Raymond next week.
Oh, all right. Laying it out there. All right. We'll keep an eye on Jason Raymond next week. Well, I'll send you back down there, Cody, to celebrate with the team. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
And with that, we can pull up our runner-up tonight, and that's going to be driver 55, Greg Mitchell. Greg, first and foremost, what are the names of the furry friends riding on board tonight?
We got Bandit and Shadow running co-pilot with me.
All right, Bandit and Shadow. Love to see it. I love the paint scheme with the little bones there this evening. Well, I tell you what, Greg, you came in tonight to tonight's race, the defending winner here at Auto Club, and you came out with a lot of speed. You were putting the pressure on that one truck all night long, and we had quite the exciting reaction there at the end of the first green flag sequence when you jumped Cody into turns 3 and 4. But it just seemed like he had found another gear or something to the likes of it. I've not really seen that happen too much at a track like Auto Club where it's so draft dependent, but do you feel like, you know what the difference was, or maybe, you know, if you had another go, you'd have something for him tonight, or was it just kind of one of those days?
It's kind of hard to figure out, actually. I know where Cody was getting me. His entry on 3 was really good. He had kind of a late turn in and probably popping the throttle at the same time just to get it to turn, and it was giving him a lot of drive. I mean, seriously, through the middle of 3 and then all the way. I don't even think he had to let up after that. So I actually started mirroring him, and once I was kind of figuring it out, I had a little more speed. But he was solid. He didn't make any mistakes, and he was trying really hard on that last run to get around me because he knew he had a maybe 5 to 10 lap window before the air started to take an effect on him. So he did a good job getting to my outside, and then he just drove off. But yeah, he was really solid tonight.
Well, I tell you what, it was quite the battle to witness, and tonight I think was a really good encapsulation of what this season is kind of turning into between you two. I believe I referred to you two as a battle of the Titans this season, as you guys keep throwing punches back and forth every single week, and I think it's really fun and really interesting to see how it's playing out as the season progresses. And I imagine it's probably what it looked like between you and I in past seasons, if anything. But it's fun to see it from the perspective of the booth. It's been a good time. So I tell you what, we've got a number of interesting tracks coming up. We go to North Wilkesboro. We're gonna go to the shortest of the short tracks. We got Rockingham, which is always a fun challenge, and another road course, which is right up your wheelhouse. So how are you feeling about the upcoming schedule?
Yeah, those are all fun tracks. I'm looking forward to that. The Roval's really good. Um, so yeah, I think you and I had a really good battle at North Wilkesboro last time, and you had good long run speed there. So I need to practice that. Cody's got a very very similar style to what you were running before. He qualifies well, and he's able to just hold track position, um, specifically on the oval. So maybe the short tracks could be a little bit different, but yeah, I feel good about those tracks. I'm looking forward to them.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you can go out there and do and respond with. But as always, we'll open up the floor to you, Greg, to give any Hayes Highs, shout-outs, thank yous for tonight's race.
Well, thanks for running the show all alone tonight, Arie. I'm sure it was fun for you. Hopefully, we had a little bit of a show that we put on up front. Cody kind of ran away with it, so I wish I was able to race him a little bit harder. But thanks to you, and thanks to Tom as always. And shout out to my dad who's watching, and a very special thank you to all the veterans out there. I know we got some in our league, so thank you to them for all their service.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Congratulations again, Greg. We'll send you down to celebrate with the others. And that brings us to the maybe one of the happiest driver on the podium. I don't know. It's always a good time when Tanner's on the podium, but you know him, you love him. Driver number 4, Tanner Marr, you are back on the podium, my friend.
Man, Arie, if we can never figure out how to qualify the Ford truck, we might be able to run a little bit better. But it feels like a dogfight every one of these races. We start like 15th or what, it's on back, and it's a battle all night long just trying to get up here. But yeah, we're excited about this one because I feel like we shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I feel like that's, you could say that about a number of races this season, I think, Tanner, bringing that Ford truck up into positions where, you quote unquote shouldn't be there, or at least you wouldn't, be expected to be there. I think it was a story we tracked throughout the night. I mean, you finished 13 spots higher than you qualified. It was a really good run. You just, methodically made your way up, and when you gained positions, you didn't lose them. You kind of held on and then maybe picked off another one, and lo and behold, you find yourself with the top 3 at the end, I think. And I talked about this with Cody, our race winner, but it seems like Five Kings has really, come together as a team here this season in the Cyber Thunder Racing League, and it is like really lifted each and every one of you guys to kind of a higher level.
Oh, I agree. I think Cody is, if he's not the fastest, he's one of the fastest, right? It'd be between him and Greg. So having that on your team, having that as a resource or whatever in our ear helps out a ton. It helps out more on restarts or whatnot because while he's normally out front, he can count us down. He can really help us out on every restart just by simply letting us know when the one truck's going to fire off. So that it's the little stuff right there that really adds up. We don't really talk a whole lot of strategy or how to run the track per se during the practice sessions. Well, usually me and Raymond's playing chess or checkers during practice, right? We're just doing something else, keeping our mind busy, but it does. It really helps out, especially late in these races.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll definitely never forget you two playing checkers on the hood of the truck in practice on a day that you weren't feeling too good about it, and then going out there and getting a podium anyway. So, I think that encapsulates the team vibe pretty well. I tell you what, it was a great run tonight, Tanner. I heard from Cody that we need to watch out for Jason next week at North Wilkesboro. Can you speak to that?
He's the way he's hyped it up in our ear. You would think he better come out and finish at least top 3. He better be talking to you and Tom next week. If not, it's gonna be a disappointment for as much as we've heard about it.
All right. Well, all the pressure is on Jason. I know you're out there listening. Well, Tanner, as always, I'll open up the floor to you. Any shout-outs, Hayes Highs, thank yous, all of the sort for tonight's race.
I think Five Kings Motorsports course team. Larry Bell got him a good finish, and I think he finished 11th, but he was running like in the top 8 there for a while. Jason Raymond, Cody, and the crew, everybody not racing with us, USAFirearms.com, Race EPI, there's a laundry list, but we'll we'll say just thank you, and normally thank Tom, but he was out there mixing it up with us here tonight. So thank you for the broadcast, and excited to see the power rings on Friday.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations again, Tanner. We'll send you back down to celebrate with the team. And with that, we are all done here with race number 12 on the season. Over halfway through the season here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League, the Tuesday Night Thunder Series for 2025 2. And I believe with that, we are finally ready to take a look at our unofficially official race results. Skip this back up to the top if we can here. Here under the lights at Auto Club for race number 12, your race winner, we spoke to him already, driver of the one, Cody Gibson for Five Kings Motorsports, ahead of Greg Mitchell in the 55, points leader entering tonight, points leader leaving tonight. We got Tanner Marr in third place on the podium, driver of the 4 for Five Kings Motorsports. Matt Semple in the 16 with a very quiet P4 finish. Fantastic run from Matt Semple, up 16 positions from where he started. In P5, Andrew Caldwell rounds out the top 5, driver of the 46, ahead of Jason Raymond in the 49. Dustin Ping brings it home P7, Ed Jurgen in P8, Chris Mackey in P9, and rounding out the top 10, Mr. Eric Anderson in the 49. Just outside of the top 10, Larry Bell in the 11th, Brad Holmes in 12th, Chris Rose brings it home 13th, ahead of Nathan Dufton in 14th, and Andy Cork rounds out the top 15. Good run, Andy. Leroy Koblenz in 16th. Brian Dorsey is going to bring us home in 17th. And let me see if I can get this button working here. We got Tom Richter, my usual co-host. He brings it home in 18th after some late race issues. Logan Spencer in 19th. Philip Van Vliet rounds out our top 20 ahead of Rick Thompson in 21st. Gary Bowman 22nd. Mike Stiverson 23rd. Steven Music 24th. Running out the top 25 is Mr. Fred Thompson. Lee Campbell brings us home 26th ahead of Tito Todorov in 27th. Paxton Frith 28th, Amanda Sherman in the War Wagon 29th, Casey Tomlinson in 30th, and rounding out the field, Dave Gainforth, Corey Sherman, and Chris Letts. All right, Auto Club down, and now we turn our attention to North Wilkesboro. It's time to head out to North Carolina, back to the East Coast for a couple of races. North Wilkesboro, Rockingham, both in the state of North Carolina. Looking forward to some good action out there. Who's it going to be next week? Greg Mitchell? Cody Gibson? Or another driver? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out, and I'm excited to have Tom back in the booth with me for the remainder of the season following tonight's events. And I think I'm going to go catch my breath.